Bonjour, mes amis. So this week we are going to continue on with the adjectives that we started last week. We're just going to start to use them in a different way and start to tell the difference between more of the masculine and feminine version of that. So we're going to continue on. There is a little bit of new vocab that was kind of floated around last week with you guys, but not really introduced. So I did want to make sure you understood that so you could understand your assignment better this week. So the first thing we have is le garçon and la fille. Le garçon means the boy, and la fille means the girl. So this is going to be important because as we are looking at our adjectives and describing not just ourselves but other people, you got to make sure the adjective agrees with who you're describing. So if I am describing the boy and I want to say the word happy, content, right? I have to say le garçon est content. Okay, this is the way that we have is content. If it is a girl that I'm describing, though, and I say la fille, okay, la fille est contente, okay, it still is the adjective for happy, except for the feminine form. Most of the time, we're going to put an E on the end. Not always, but most of the time. There's another couple other little vocab things that they're assuming almost that you know when I looked at the worksheets this time. I just want to make sure that we're clear on it. There's also il and elle. Il, it just means he. So instead of saying the boy is happy, I can say he is happy, right? I can say il est content. And then la fille est contente, instead of saying the girl is happy, I can say she is happy. I can use elle est contente. Okay? So I can say il est content, elle est contente. Okay? So those are the two ways you can say it. Again, feminine, okay? We're talking about a girl. Masculine, I'm talking about a boy. If I was talking about myself, I would be using the feminine part, talking about myself. If I wanted to say je suis contente, okay? If I was not a girl teacher, if I was a boy, okay? If I was one of your male teachers, I would be using the masculine form, right? All right. So another thing that I'm going to include this week that I also had last week is the French adjectives. This, again, same exact thing you saw last week, and it'll be on Google Classroom. I'm going to attach it to this assignment as well, though, just so you have access to these adjectives again, all right? Again, these are adjectives that we worked with last week, but we're going to be using them over again. So we have mons, gros, intelligent, stupide, triste, content, petit, grand, beau, laid, fort, and fiable. And then the last thing we had done last week was that we learned, yes, that sometimes there's a masculine form content and then content, fort and fort, okay, grand and grande. And then obviously, most of the time, when I make it feminine, I'm just putting an E on the end. It doesn't work every time, but a lot of the times you're going to be pretty okay if that's kind of how you're starting out, at least with your basic learning of the language, okay? So masculine, so all the ones that we have on this list right here are the masculine forms. That's how you learn them first. And then if I need to make them feminine, a lot of times we're just going to put an E on the end. And that's what we talked a little bit about last week. And then this week we're going to concentrate more on. So here's your actual assignment. Again, you're going to have to pay attention to who they're talking about. If they say le garçon, that's the masculine form that you're going to be writing there. If it's la fille, that's the feminine form you're going to write there because we're saying the boy is and the girl is. So we have to make sure that whatever adjective we put there has to agree with your subject. In this case, it's a masculine subject. In this case, it's a feminine subject. And again, you can just type on there like you usually would. And then one thing I do want to show you is that the word they have you guys using on this one is enchanté, right? There is an accent there. So just really quick, I'm just going to refresh your memory. You're going to go to insert. Okay, so I'm going to insert. I click insert. I'm going to click on special characters. And it was an E with an accent aigu. So I'm going to just type in E. That's the easiest way to find it instead of having to search and scroll through all the letters. And then it'll give you all the different E's that have some accent on it. And this is the accent aigu one right there. So I'm just going to click on it. Once I click on it, it automatically puts it right in my document there. Okay. So I'm going to delete that because you don't need that for, oops, I might just delete the text box. I'll have to put that in later. Okay. So the next page, same idea. La fille, le professeur we haven't talked about means the teacher. It's masculine. That's the teacher there. Le garçon, we already talked about. La fille, we talked about. Il and elle, we just talked about. Le chat, it means the cat, and la chatte, okay, also means the cat. This feminine form of cat, though. Okay, so they give you a couple irregular adjectives. So these are the ones we had, and then they have gros becomes gross. Okay, beau becomes belle for feminine. So they're just trying to introduce you to some of these irregular adjectives, right? So try your best on them, and you're just typing them on the line. Last thing is we have a basketball team. Basketball team, there are 10 boys here. They all have a number on their jerseys, and there's a number here. So you're going to look at number 1, and you're going to try to figure out what characteristic you could come up with, describe him. And again, I'm going to have this link down there so you can use these, right? Okay, or you can also use these as well. But you're going to put the masculine form, and you're going to click, type it on the line, masculine form of it. And most of them are pretty obvious as to maybe what their characteristics are. You might want to do the easier ones first and then see which adjectives you're left over with, and that might help you with the rest of them. And then the last part is the feminine. We have the same thing, a girls basketball team, and same thing, they have jerseys on with their numbers. I think I was having a little trouble reading this one. It was number 10. This one's number 9. And this one's number 7. So those ones seem to be a little bit more faded. I just want to make sure you know what numbers those are. And then these are the girls, so you need to use the feminine form of those adjectives. Again, the adjectives we're talking about are the adjectives that are here, the adjectives that are here. And honestly, even some of the ones they introduced you to in the couple pages before that, where they gave you these feminine forms like gross and belle, right? Okay, so don't be afraid to look back on our previous work from this section also to find those answers. All right, so that is it. Again, I will give you guys each your own version of it so you can type right onto it, and then you just are going to submit it for this week. Don't forget to do last week's assignment as well, especially before you do this one, because this one is an extension of the one we did the week before. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.